Today we're going to take a look at my 5 favorite traditional knives of 2024, along with a few honorable mentions. Let's take a look at number 5. This is an old Boker. This is a true Solage in Germany made knife. You can also see it on a tank stamp, Boker Solage in Germany. This is in the 4-inch class of Stockman. It's got a beautiful clip point blade. The etching on it is still perfectly clear. This blade has seen very little use over the years. It's got a little bit of peppering on it. It's carbon steel, but that's okay. You also have a sheep's foot. Again, no wear at all on it. And your spade blade. Chestnut bone. Just beautifully done. No gaps at all in this knife. Again, a little bit of peppering from age. Just a very well made knife. Beautifully done. There's your blade centering. Excellent knife. Next is a Lake Champlain Barlo from C. Reisner. Carbon fiber on this thing is gorgeous. This thing is just beautiful when you get it out in the sunlight. Here you can see just a little hint of how it reflects here inside. The sheep's foot blade. You can see C. Reisner M390. Lake Champlain Barlo. Really nice snap on this. Beautifully made. This is made along the same quality level as a Jack Wolf knife. Centering is dead straight down the middle. I know on the camera it looks like it might be a little bit off to the side here, but that's a distortion of the camera lens. I can't get it to show quite perfect for some reason. There you go. Next is a Jack Wolf. I believe they call this the After Hours Jack. I might be wrong on that, but just a beautiful knife. Lamb's foot blade. You can see how that comes down, and it's wider here than it is here at the base. You're looking at about a 2.5-inch cutting edge. It's just a very nice sized knife. Carbon fiber scales. Excellent snap. So here you're looking at a knife that is about 3 3/4 of an inch in length. Very light, very slim, easy to pocket. Absolute perfection. There's the centering. Nice thin hollow ground. Extremely slicey blade. This is just a joy to use. My second favorite traditional for the year, and this may surprise you, I spent $12 on this knife. And I could very easily take this as my only slip joint that I carry every day. I absolutely love this knife, especially after adding the scallops onto the yellow Delrin. You have your standard clip point. This one's got the Teeners. It's seen a lot of use this year. There's your spade blades, just a blade I keep sharp in reserve. And the sheep's foot for utility tasks, which, being an IT guy, is something that's very important to me. It's one common theme you'll notice on all of these knives. All of them have some type of a sheep's foot, lamb's foot type blade on them. This is the Rosecraft Brier Patch Jack. I also added scallops to this. This is black bone, and it was a smooth bone, so it was quite slippery in the hand. Adding those scallops give the meat of your fingers something to sink into, and then your grip is very secure. That knife is not going to go anywhere. Adds a lot to the knife, both functionally and aesthetically. This knife just has a beautiful clip point blade. I mean, look at that blade. Isn't that just gorgeous? D2 tool steel. Holds a great edge. I really love the edge retention of this knife. Half stops and a good snap closed. Then we have the lamb's foot blade. I'm not sure technically if it is a lamb's foot because it's not wider here than it is at the base, but I believe that's what they call it. Just an excellent utility blade. And it's really nice to have a full-length utility blade versus the much shorter sheep's foot that's on the Stockman. So on the Stockman, you have two smaller secondary blades versus this is a two-bladed knife instead, but you have two full-size blades. I prefer the two full-size blades. Excellent build quality. Typical of Rosecraft. So this is my most carried traditional knife of this year. Therefore, this is going to be my favorite traditional knife of this year. If I had to get rid of all of my slip joints and only keep one, it would be this one, based on my use, based on my daily needs and how much I put this thing through. Combination of the edge retention of D2 steel, very good tough knife, the two full-length blades that are extremely slicey. This has just been an excellent knife. Now for some of the honorable mentions, and these will be other Stockmen in the 4-inch category. Here's an old timer that I restored. This one was well used up, and I had to do a lot of work on this. And I have videos on doing this, and also on doing the scalloping. And there's your sheep's foot. And what is left of the spade blade, I ground it down to make a very pointy blade, which is great for either whittling, great for getting splinters out, or even for use as an awl. So that's honorable mention number 1. Honorable mention number 2 is another old timer, also in the 4-inch class. Very similar knife to this one, but this one has pretty much no use on it. It does have a little bit of rust on it. That's how it was when I got it. I haven't cleaned it up or done anything with it, but I just love this knife. And see there, it's the 8OT USA made Schrade. And the sheep's foot. One thing that I love about these knives is look at the size of that sheep's foot. This is on the full-size Stockman. This would be the equivalent of a case 75. Look at the length. In the smaller 4-inch class knife, the blade is quite a bit longer than on the full-size Stockman. And on this Rosecraft, it has a full-length blade. You can see it's right in the middle of the Stockman and the Rosecraft. Just a great utility blade for such a small, thin, lightweight knife. And then your spade blade. And then the last one, and one of my favorites for carry, has been this old Boker made in Solage in Germany. Again, just like this one, it's a 4-inch class knife, and you can see those two knives are virtually the same thing except for different covers. This one was also well worn, but the clip point blade, surprisingly, isn't the one that was used. It's the other two blades. Matter of fact, the sheep's foot blade, which was this one, was so worn, I turned it into a pen blade. It had so much of an upward sweep from improper sharpening. So now that's your pen blade. And what used to be the spade blade, the way it was worn and missharpened lent itself to turn it into a small sheep's foot blade. So I still have 3 very good blades on this knife. Again, you can take a look. This knife was solid rust when I got it. You couldn't even see any silver on these back springs. This one took a lot of work to clean up, reprofile all the blades, and to make right again. But it turned out to be a beautiful knife and one that I love to carry. So there are my favorite traditionals of 2024. That's going to be it for this one. We'll see you next time.